Hey, this is Mr. Barr, and I'm going to do inverses of trigonometric functions. Let's start with what an inverse operation looks like. So here's a simple one-step equation. 3 times x equals 9. What would I do? Well, I've got multiplication right here, so I'm going to use the inverse operation, which is division. I divide both sides by 3, and I get x equals 3. Here, this is 1/5 times x. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. That's going to give me x equals 10, which works, right? 1/5 of 10 equals 2. Now, in trig functions, if I have sine x equals 0.3, I have to use the inverse operation in order to get the x by itself. And the inverse of sine is called inverse sine. So what I'm going to do, it's going to look funny. Inverse sine, sine to the -1 undoes a sine. So these guys are gone, but whatever I do to one side, I have to do the other side. I don't have a lot of space here, but it's going to be sine inverse sine of that. So if I take the inverse sine of a sine, they cancel out, so I'm left with x equals the inverse sine of 0.3. So inverse sine, how do I do that on my calculator? Looking at my buttons, here's my sine button. The inverse is a second function of that. So I'm going to go shift second of sine. That gives me sine to the -1, which is the inverse sine. And I put in the 0.3. And I get 17.457. It says to round it to the nearest tenth. No, round it to the nearest hundredth. So that's going to be 17.46. Great job. There we go. Let's do another one. Sine, so I'm going to go inverse sine. Inverse sine of 0.8. 53.13. That's right. This is going to be an inverse cosine. So I go inverse cosine of 0.1. 84.26. Okay, this would be an inverse cosine again. Let's jump a level. There's also an inverse tangent. See if we can catch it up here. There we go. So let's go do an inverse tangent. Inverse of tangent, 1.5, 56.31. Another inverse tangent. Let's jump a level again. Did this get any weirder? That's going to be an inverse tangent again. So there's nothing to this. You're either using inverse sine, inverse cosine, or inverse tangent on all of these problems. So it's the inverses of all those 3 buttons. Inverse tangent, 19.8, 87.11. All right, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching.